Hello, dear students and friends. I covered the first 5 stanzas of this poem, To a Skylark, in the last video. So, in this video, I will resume from stanza 6 of this poem. So, let's begin. All the earth and air with thy voice is loud, as when night is bare. From one lonely cloud, the moon rains out her beams and heaven is overflowed. Now, these lines explain a string of thoughts experienced by the poet. The poet expands on this idea in the 6th stanza that the entire atmosphere of the earth, all the one can see and cannot see, depending on the time of day, is made greater when the bird's voice is there. The bird is as the rays of the moon that rain down from heaven. So the bird's voice is compared to the rays of the moon that descend or come down from heaven. So the delightful voice of the bird enthuses the poet, fascinates the poets, and he further compares it to the rays of the moon coming down from the heaven. Then in the 7th stanza, he goes on, What thou art we know not, what is most like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see, as from thy presence showers a rain of melody. Now the poet's voice, poet feels that the skylark's voice is a rich source of melody. Now it is at this point that the poet will once more return to the idea that the bird is more than just a creature. It is representing something greater. It is the essence of happiness and all that is needed to live a joyful life. The speaker begins by stating that he doesn't know exactly what the skylark is, only what he can think to compare it to. He names off a number of things that he could compare the bird to. The first is rainbow clouds, which sound pristinely beautiful, but the poet quickly dismisses them as the drops. They rain are nothing compared to the melody that showers from the skylark's presence. So, in comparison to the voice of the skylark, even rain, the drops of rain, are nothing. The skylark's voice is the most exquisite or the most magnificent source of melody. In the 8th stanza, the poet goes on, like a poet hidden in the light of thought, singing hymns unbidden, till the world is wrought to sympathy with hopes and fears it heeded not. Now, the explanation is like this. The next couple stanzas continue on this theme as Sally tries to figure out how exactly to describe the bird. It is, he states, like a poetic impulse that cannot be restrained. It is singing hymns unbidden that have unintended but wonderful consequences. The song of the bird forces sympathy to surface in the mind of those that haven't in the past heeded the hopes and fears of others. It is actively and morally improving those who hear its song. In the 9th stanza, the poet carries on like a high-born maiden, like a palace tower, soothing her love-laden soul in secret hour, with music sweet as love, which overflows her bower. Now the ninth stanza provides the reader with another comparison. The skylark is said to be like a high-born maiden that is locked away in a palace tower. From there, way above her lover, as the bird is above the point, she is able to secretly soothe his soul. Soothe, that is to pacify or provide peace. Her words, just like a bird's music, are sweet as love, and in the case of the maiden, it overflows her bower or bedroom. Then in the 10th stanza, like a glow-worm golden in a dell of dew, scattering unbeholden its aerial hue among the flowers and grass which screen it from the view. Shelley still has a couple more comparisons to share. He carries on his comparisons. He sees the bird as a glowworm that is emanating golden light in a dell, or that's a small valley in the woods amongst the dew. This small moment of beauty is as delicate and important as the moment in which Shelley is living. These natural comparisons are those that bring Shelley the closest to relaying the emotion he felt while hearing and briefly seeing the skylark. The bird is scattering its hue or happiness from the sky. It is unbeholden to anyone or anything. Its mind and actions are its own. Its joy, it's raining down among the flowers and grass. Its essence is becoming a part of everything, not seen but felt. Then in the 11th stanza, like a rose embowered in its own green leaves by warm winds, deflowered till the scent it gives makes faint with too much sweet those heavy winged tips. Now in this stanza, the speaker presents one final comparison. The sounds, the feeling, and the look of the bird remind Shelley of a rose that is protected or embowered, but its own lips. The protection doesn't last forever, and the warm winds can blow off all of its flowers and spread its scent within the breeze. Quickly the sweet of the petals is too much even for the winds, those heavy winged tips. In the 12th stanza, sound of vernal showers on the twinkling grass, rain awakened flowers, all that ever was, joyous and clear and fresh thy music doth surpass. Now, the explanation is the speaker's metaphor, that is the implied meaning, extends to the 12th stanza. The sound of the bird song is beyond everything. It surpasses everything that ever was before considered joyous and clear and fresh. It is better than the sound of vernal or spring showers landing on the twinkling grass and the beauty of the flowers that rain will have awakened. In the 13th stanza, teach us, sprite or bird, what sweet thoughts are thine. I have never heard praise of love or wine that panted forth a flood of rapture so divine. Now, this is the turning point in the poem, where the speaker, having exhausted his metaphors, turns back to the skylark and addresses it. He is hoping that the bird, or perhaps it is more apt to call it a sprite, as it embodies an emotion, what thoughts it is thinking. As a point, he is trying to relate to his flood of earth and has in his life never seen anything that can inspire such beauty, not praise of love or wine. Then in the 14th stanza, he says, chorus hymeneal or triumphal chant, matched with thine would be all but an empty want, a thing wherein we feel there is some hidden want. The song of the bird is described as being like a hymn sung by a chorus as well as like a triumphal chant. It is suited to all occasions and all contingencies of human life. It can equally outmatch religious or wartime subject matter and inspiration. Anything that would even attempt to compete with the bird would be an empty vaunt or a baseless boast. Other songs would clearly be missing something, an element that is impossible to name, but clearly not there. And in the 15th stanza, what objects are the fountains of thy happy strain? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What ignorance of pain? Once more the speaker probes the bird's mind. What, he asks, are you thinking about? What objects or visions does your beautiful song come from? He is determined in his questions, willing the bird with all his might to answer. He believes that just around the corner, with just a few words from the bird, he will have the answer to one of life's greatest questions: how to find happiness. He poses a number of options. Is your song inspired by fields or waves or mountains? Or perhaps it is given its form by the shapes of sky or plain, meaning fields. He continues questioning, does your son come from love of thine own kind, a love that the skylark has found amongst his own species, or just a life blessed without pain? Now, I've explained the 15 stanzas of the poem, and the rest of the stanzas from 16 to 21 I will discuss in the next video. Thank you.